I'm good. I'm ready. I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Well, we were waiting on one person who I think is on her way, but we will go ahead and start. And with that, I'll call to order the Sandy Springs Planning Commission meeting for Wednesday, October 22nd, and turn it over for announcements to Sam.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the Planning Commission. Today is October the 22nd, 2025. Please confirm your attendance as I call your name. Chairman Reed Haggard.
I'm here.
Vice Chair Andy Porter.
Here.
Commissioner Robin Conklin.
Here.
Commissioner Karen Tralovich.
Here.
Commissioner Sherwin Clemens.
Here.
Commissioner Elizabeth Kelly. Here. Commissioner Andrea Settles. And she'll be in shortly here. Your attendance has been confirmed and will be included in the official meeting minutes. Now I will read the announcements regarding the decorum and procedures of the Planning Commission meeting. The Planning Commission's duty is to review and provide recommendations on applications of legislative reviews, including text amendments, comprehensive plans, character area map amendments, zoning map amendments, rezonings, and conditional use permits. The petitions will be heard in the sequence listed on the posted agenda. Following are some of the rules and procedures for this part of the meeting. The applicant and all those speaking in support of the application will be allowed a total of 10 minutes to present their petition. The applicant may choose to save some of the time for rebuttal following the presentation by the opposition. The opposition will be allowed a total of 10 minutes to present its position. Since the burden of proof is upon the applicant will be allowed to make closing remarks provided time remains from the original allotted time. Staff will keep track of the time for both sides. Those called to speak will be taken in the order that the public comment cards were received by the Planning and Zoning Clerk prior to the beginning of tonight's meeting. All speakers will identify themselves by name, address, and, if applicable, organization before beginning their presentation. Demonstration of any sort within the chamber is prohibited, so please refrain from any applause, cheering, booing, outburst, or dialogue when the person is speaking. Please show the same respect to the person speaking that you will expect to receive. The applicant shall not submit materials to the Planning Commission during the meeting. All materials should be submitted to the Community Development Department at least 30 days prior to the scheduling meeting for inclusion in the normal distribution of the packages to the Commission. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And will you please, for the record, note that Commissioner Settles is present?
Thank you, Chair. Noted.
We have a meeting agenda that includes one case tonight, which is 6344 Roswell Road. Agenda looks fine. Someone make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Ms. Trilovich has made it, seconded by Ms. Settles. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. So agenda is approved. I also have meeting minutes from our last meeting. And I see that some name corrections were made. I appreciate that. And everything in that looks accurate to me. So with that, someone a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting, which was, what was that, August 20th?
Yeah.
Move that we approve the minutes from the August 20th meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. A second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right. So with that, we will call the first case. Before we do, I was approached by staff that I understand that the applicant had a presentation, and based on its almost identical nature, it seems, or similarity to staff's presentation, I felt that it was appropriate for them to be able to make that presentation. However, let me make clear to you, when you do come before the mayor and city council, they're not so welcoming on that. So make sure that you've crossed your T's and dotted your I's in advance, as Sam pointed out, the timelines that are before that. Okay? All right, so Sam, let's call that first case.
Thank you,
yeah,
Chair.
Hold on.
I know we'll find this earth-shattering, but I'm struggling with my computer right here.
I'll be right there. Hold on.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll have to pause. The suspension will build. Oh,
Okay.
It's timing out quickly.
And I've been
Okay.
asking about this for like 3 years. It just drives me crazy.
all right, Sam.
Thank you, Chair. 2025-006 U-25-2, 6344 Roswell Road. Request for a conditional use permit to allow for a drive-through facility in the CX3 zoning district for a bank. Presented by Laquita Williams, our planner 2.
All right, thank you, Sam. Good evening, commissioners and members of the public. Welcome to the October 22nd, 2025 Planning Commission public hearing. Tonight, I will be introducing conditional use permit U-25-2 at 6344 Roswell Road to allow for a drive-through facility at a former bank building in the CX3 zoning district. Staff's recommendation is approval with conditions. Next slide. The character area for this property is commercial mixed use, and the zoning is CX3 for 3 stories maximum height. On the area image to the far right, you can see the parcel outlined in green. The existing parcel is developed as a neighborhood shopping plaza, anchored by the Aldi grocery store, along with a mix of retail tenants, including a healthcare clinic, a drive-through bank building, and a hardware store. The drive-through facility, the entire parcel is approximately 7.75 acres in Zone CX3. The drive-through facility is approximately 4,330 square feet and has been vacant for several years. There is a BP gas station to the north, a CVS to the south, and the Whispering Pines neighborhood to the west. Across Roswell Road is another shopping center and the Goddard Preschool. The proposed development includes renovating the existing bank building and the accessory drive-through facility to operate a bank. The proposal includes adding a 6-foot wide crosswalk, an amenity space, ADA ramps, and a raised landscape island. For this request, staff reviewed the proposal against the development code, basic use standard, and the conditional use permit criteria. While a bank is a permitted use in the CX zoning district, a drive-through facility requires a conditional use permit. Staff finds that the proposed use is compatible with adjacent uses within the CX district and complies with applicable development code standards with minimum anticipated impact on city services. So with that, staff recommends approval of U-25-2 with a condition that construction and site improvements be substantially similar to the site plan received to the Department of Community Development. Thanks.
Thank you very much. With that, let's open the public hearing portion for this case and hear from the applicant.
Good evening. I'm Danny Blumenthal with Gaskins LaCroix, 1266 Powder Springs Road in Marietta, Georgia. I don't need to reiterate what Ms. Williams just explained to all of you and showed you in her presentation. I just wanted to say that we appreciate staff's recommendation of approval. We're in agreement with the conditions by planning staff and by the city engineer. And I'm here as well as some representatives from Regency Centers. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Are you going to make that presentation, Danny, or are we not going to hear that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying that I didn't need to reiterate because
Oh.
as you noted, we hadn't seen their presentation before. But
Okay, great.
yeah, don't want to waste your time.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you. Sam, do we have any comment cards?
No, not at this time, Chair.
Well, all right then. Well, that was quick. Thank you. With that, we'll close the public hearing for this case. It's been presented to us with staff recommending approval. Before we talk about it, a motion. Ms. Settles?
I make a motion to approve case 2025-0006, U25-2, 6344 Roswell Road. Requested conditional use permit to allow for a drive-through facility in the CX zoning district for the bank.
A motion to approve with the conditions as stated by staff is made by Ms. Settles. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Kelly. Any questions, any discussion?
I have some.
Please, Mr. Porter.
The site plan that's referenced in the package, have all the changes been, and that's part of the recommendations, have the city engineer's comments been applied to that site plan?
Yes.
They have? Okay. Okay. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure because it was had like, what, 9 different comments and they're all addressed.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Anyone else?
No, that was my question. Thank you, Andy.
The only question I had was the approval as it stands right now is based on with the site plan, but it doesn't specify, correct, that specifically that it must be a bank. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the request on the last slide, that's how the verbiage would be.
Okay, well, put that up there, will you?
Yeah, to allow for a drive-through facility at a bank.
At a bank. This is for this bank, so it must be a bank. Okay, I wanted to make sure because
Well-
it was a bank. I didn't know if you were referencing that's what it had been, you know. Okay.
Technically, it could be any other use as well still that's allowed by right, but the particular use, if they want to do that, this is the process. They would
Right.
have 12 months to utilize.
Okay.
Can I ask another question?
Well,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
look, Ms. Sells.
That prompted a question. If they choose not to proceed, does that mean another bank or another facility can come in and the drive-through's been approved, or do we start over?
Well, I was just saying that if they do a bank, they have a time frame to operate as a bank before they would kind of lose the condition, I believe. 12 months is usually, unless the use permit would run with the land in some form. But either way, what I was getting at was that any use that is allowed by right is still allowed. It doesn't have to be a bank per se. So if they change plans, they could still go with anything that's allowed, like a restaurant or something,
So all we're doing here is approving the fact that they're getting a drive-through.
basically, yeah.
Okay. And if they choose to change their plan and get something else, the drive-through is still the conditional use is still effective if they decide to put a restaurant in and use the drive-through?
No.
Okay.
So to your point, yes, a bank drive-through is the type of drive-through that would be allowed.
And then at the end of 12 months, if they don't do anything, they can, whatever happens to that application, but then we start over again and look at another applicant?
Yeah, you guys hear me? Okay, there you go. Yeah, I mean, the way the condition's worded, it's conditioned upon the site plan that's titled a bank. It doesn't say it has to be a bank. So all you're doing tonight is approving a cup for a drive-through, essentially, in this district. So any other use that can meet the requirements of that site plan is allowed to go by this CUP approval if it goes through. To my a conditional use permit, it's just like a rezoning. It's a legislative approval. It runs with the property until it's changed. So,
So disregard my comment about 12 months.
right, it'll be there until.
But because we've changed code about drive-throughs, and we're approving potentially this one as a drive-through for a bank, that would still continue to go with the property? Or
It-
they'd have to come back to us for another drive-through approval if something changes?
Yeah, if something changes, if somebody cannot meet that site plan, they'll have to come back. If the code is changed and nobody's done anything out there, say the code changes and the code as it's written in the future, nobody can meet that site plan, then they'd have to come back. But as long as the code permits that site plan, anybody who can meet it will have a CUP.
Are you understanding that?
I guess what I'm questioning is if this individual does not build a bank, okay, and run a bank, and they choose to sell it, as we've had other properties do before, they've gotten approvals for things, then they've never developed. We've got, right now, it's a requirement that you get a drive-through approved. So if they don't do what they're going to do, does that negate their approval of a drive-through? Or could they sell this property to somebody else and have it fit the site plan perfectly, but it's not them?
Yeah.
They just get to do a drive-through over any period of time now?
Yeah, as long as they can,
Meet that site plan.
meet that condition. Yes, ma'am, yep.
Then that, can I,
Well, let me clarify something here, because that's what I brought up. My initial question was it says at a bank. Doesn't say at a building. It says at a bank. That is the condition of that it must be a bank.
Yeah, I think it says that's the title of the site plan. Is that right? Is that just the title of it?
Well, that was the clarification I asked for originally, and was told that yes, that's in the title, that it allows a drive-through facility at a bank. That's bookend, drive-through facility at a bank. So if they sold it and somebody came in and said, we want to do a coffee shop, well, that's not at a bank.
Yeah.
It's not a bank.
Yeah, I mean, that might present problems, and that'd be up for planning to interpret when they come back, when whoever comes back. But as far as just from a land use perspective goes, it appears to be conditioned just to a site plan that is titled Bank Cup. And I'm not saying that, it might, staff might say, well, hey, this is tied to a bank cup. But I don't know how
if
you do that, Matt.
If it makes it easier, I mean, you guys just recommend an additional clarifying condition that says must be a bank.
Yeah, you can certainly recommend a
Drive-through.
condition to council.
But he's right. I mean, certainly planning would only allow for someone to come in with a bank
Okay.
with the drive-through because our recommendation is based on the traffic flow of a bank drive-through versus a restaurant,
Okay.
fast food.
All right. Any other
Chair,
comments,
I have
questions?
a question. Clarifying, when we initially had the conversation about this, it was my understanding it was a bank previously with a drive-through, and that the reason we were looking at this again to approve the drive-through was because that time frame, something expired. So can you help us understand what expired? Is there potentially another expiration date to where if this project does not go through, we would have another applicant going through the same process if they were also putting a bank in the same location?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it allows me to explain where I got mixed up earlier, is that previously this was just a by right thing that the bank could exist in older code versions. And in today's code version, you come for this cup, and you get this cup, to William's point, it becomes part of the property's entitlement, specifically for this property, for that exact site plan, as we've recommended it. That's how it would work. So now it is kind of memorialized to be what it is. It's no longer the legal non-conforming that it was, which had a time stamp on it of 12 months. You must, you can't stop running it for 12 months or you lose the legal non-conforming status. So it lost that. This is kind of getting that back, but now it's no longer non-conforming. It's conforming under a cup.
And is this because of an update in the code?
Yeah, previously they didn't have, so before the 2017 code, I'm not sure exactly what was allowed there, but I would assume at least before 2017, you could have a bank there by right with a drive-through. Sorry, the drive-through being the issue here. In 2017, at least, the drive-through component became legally non-conforming as it continued to operate as a bank with a drive-through. And when it stopped doing that, and it did that for more than 12 months, it no longer was conforming. So they have to go through the legal process, which is what we're doing here.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Could you put the site plan up on thing? This computer system crashes every, 3 minutes, and it's astoundingly frustrating.
And it's not just Andy, by the way.
I would take credit
The
for
tablets are
being the
crashing.
knucklehead in the crowd, for sure. But
Today.
this parcel is part of the overall 7-point-something acre piece, right? I know we've relaxed parking restrictions, but this it's kind of an amazingly awkward site plan. There's going to be, as people enter the drive-through lanes, there's parking on either side. I mean, I drove through it before I came here, and people park for the various retail tenants across the way. So they're going to be backing out, and people are being encouraged to park in this bank area by the sidewalks they're installing. It just seems this.
It's survived this long, Andy.
I get it.
And it passed muster for our engineers to be. There were some improvements. The bulb out as you come in on the north entrance. When you're doing something like this, you can't just knock it all down and start over. So what you do is obviously just little incremental steps to help improve the flow as it is. It won't be perfect, but at the same time, you also, I think we're all aware that bank drive-through traffic is not necessarily it's not a big threat to kind of the parking lot as much as maybe something like a restaurant's drive-through would be a lot more of a queuing issue.
Okay, so
Just one more thing. Parking, we're not requiring them to move the building forward. We're allowing parking to remain in the front of the building?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can flip them.
Yeah, that's correct. Since they're not adding any square footage to the building, it kind of falls under a legal nonconforming status of its own.
Okay, thank you.
from the procedural standpoint, if she wants to revise her motion, do we need to do anything or just allow her to revise her motion?
Yeah, she can revise her motion.
Ms. Settles, you said you wanted to revise your motion?
I do.
So do I do the whole case over? It's just-
I think you
Okay.
should revise it to reflect.
Okay. So in case number 2025-0006, U25-26344 Roswell Road, I approve a request for a conditional use permit to allow for a drive-through facility in the CX3 zoning district specifically for a bank.
With the staff conditions.
With
as
staff
stated,
condition as stated.
But making clear that it's specifically for a bank. Okay, we have a motion from Ms. Settles, second from Ms. Clemens. Sorry, I've got a mental block now. And any additional discussion? Okay, call the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Was just Mr. Porter, or did you raise your hand as well? Okay, the motion is approved. That was harder than I thought it was going to be. All right, great. Ongoing business. I don't know what we've got. Michelle, you got?
I just got back.
Well, welcome back.
Yes, that's ongoing business. I was in Trinidad and Belgium and wherever. I just got back today.
Okay. Well, so does anyone else know of ongoing business?
So, do we have something for next month? Yes. Lake Forest. Just figure out what month is next month. That's November. So yes, we do have Lake Forest Drive
Okay.
rezoning. for
Okay,
next
so
month.
we plan to have a meeting next month.
Yes.
All right, and then any new business? I guess not. What?
Are we working on a new code?
Zoning code, you mean?
Yes.
No, not yet. We did some updates a couple months ago, as you recall, some edits, cleanup type things. So that's has gone through Mayor and City Council, and we don't have a plan to do anything else just yet. We are, of course, looking to launch the comprehensive plan next year. So I don't know if that's what you were thinking. Yeah, comprehensive plan. Yeah.
Yeah. My only point is we had some brief discussion about we seem to bring. There seems to be a philosophical difference between drive-throughs in certain parts of the city and the ability to still get one via a cup. And maybe we should just set certain zoning areas that just say it's allowable. Because it.
Yeah, we do have some zoning categories that it's allowed by right.
I know we do,
yeah.
but we just seem, it seems like a conflict every time. If we're going to approve them all, why not just change the code? Yeah. There's been, I bet since we've done the 2017 code, I bet there's been 5 approved. I mean, we approved Whataburger.
Okay.
But,
We-
you know,
we-
Whataburger was approved for, it was already approved for a drive-through. What we were approving was that they could be open 24/7.
No, it had lost its grandfather.
It had lost
Just the same
exactly
way.
the question that you brought up earlier, which would be the case with the Whataburger building, was also the case with, what was that car place, Magic Mike's? That, you know, once it closed, somebody could have reopened it, but time passed, and now it's no longer grandfathered in. I think that was your 12 month.
Gotcha.
So,
The council didn't approve it.
That's right. You guys recommended it, and council turned it down.
Right.
So
It's still an option for consideration, I think is what he
Yeah.
was saying.
You're right. I mean, it just seems interesting to me that when the code was formed in 2017, there seemed to be a philosophical idea that we don't want drive-throughs in certain areas, and the code was drafted to that effect. But
Correct,
now we
yes.
seem to, staff recommends them, and we approve them.
Well, there's a lot of them that you don't see that come through beforehand that never really make it here.
And maybe that's the answer. Maybe
And
that's
that's,
the answer.
yeah, and that's some of it, is some of it really never makes it past the concept, because they say, well, this, that, and the other, and they don't want to move forward, so.
Now,
and-
we do have,
yeah,
areas of
just-
the city that it's not allowed at all,
That's right.
by right or with conditional use
Oh,
permit.
understood.
City Springs.
Yeah, understood,
others.
but, here's this one tonight. There's Fifth Third Bank, 100 yards away. Then the coffee company was going to come in somewhere right there. Whataburger, I mean, but you can date all the way back to Bank of America, Chase, all of those places. They get them. And we ought to, in a way, doesn't it seem like we're kind of wasting our time if, put it in the law, or change the law to align with
Well,
people's
the
laws.
the ones, the banks over here, none of those could have drive-throughs today. So that was before this code, to your point. So it is preventing them from being more in the city center just because they're not allowed by code here.
Just because we adopted the city center, but we had restrictions on drive-throughs back many, many years ago. I mean, well, the first one was the Bank of America. It was CNS Bank back then. But be that way, I don't want to take up everybody's time. I just
Well, like I
threw
mentioned,
it
that
out there for an
Mayor and City
idea that we
Council.
can think through as we move forward.
Are you saying more guidance on, or actually saying, being very specific about this is the code, and then it gives us more guidance on how to proceed?
I think our philosophy and our code are kind of going like this.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Is what I think. And we ought to try, see if it's better alignment. It cuts down on conflict. So anyway, enough soapbox.
Well, we rewrote, when we rewrote the code and made updates, one of the reasons why all of those were done was to more streamline it. So there were kind of fewer gray areas. It was more like, yes, you can, no, you can't. And then if you really wanted to push the gray area, then, there were variances, there were conditional use permits. You really had to go through a process. But I know I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and like I mentioned to Mayor and City Council during the Waterburger, we did lose a few drive-throughs over the years. Remember, Checkers was gone, and the Wendy's that was here, no more drive-through, and there's a few up and down Roswell Road that can't return. So,
Ms. Kelly, did you have something you want to say? You had your hand raised. That's why.
I was just thinking, how can we ensure that the message gets through to the second planning group, that this is an issue that needs to be addressed?
Well, I think Michelle just said she's going to bring it up.
Okay.
yeah,
Thank
during
you.
the comprehensive plan process.
All right. With that, the final item on the agenda was the adjournment. Someone got a motion there?
I'll make a motion that
Thank you, Sherwin. Second, Ms. Karen. All in favor? There we go. We are adjourned.
Computer is not moving. My computer is stuck. I guess it's coming out.
And so that was good.
Oh, really? Yeah, just came from the airport, rolled right into here. I know.
But if you use that use, you have 1 year to, you have 1 year grace period. If outside of that 1 year, you have to apply to the current zoning. So this one, Whataburger, there's any automotive use, any kind of thing, they go out. Like if the car radio place up there goes out, you got to put another car place in within 12 months, or it goes to a non-automotive use.